Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a fully loaded Ram Rebel, and we're going to decide if this package makes any sense considering the new RHO that will be here soon. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Dodge Ram here in Provo for giving me some time with this truck. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Powering this is a turbo 3-liter inline 6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy 17 around town and then 24 on the highway. Power outputs are 420 horsepower and then 469 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see we got all the cool venting here with the Rebel package all blacked out, and you have your SST badge there on the side. And then popping down below, we've got these cool new LED lights, which I think look really sharp here. The side that I have in the shade, you can kind of see the light a little bit better. Fog lights down below, we've got recovery points here on the front end. The Rebel also comes with some skid plate protection as well. And I mean, this is a hardcore off-road bumper, so this thing is all ready to go straight out of the bag. Now our turn wheel setup is 275 by 70 by 18 in the front and over in the rear. You can see here, really cool design on the wheels, all blacked out. And these are actual aggressive all-terrain tires. Bilstein shocks with the Rebel package. We also have air suspension built in with this one. See the big chunky fender flares. You got the Ram logo here on the side. Two-tone. Here, I'll take a few steps back so you guys can see the side profile. Really cool looking. And then if we actually look at the suspension here in the rear, you can see the Bilstein shocks. So you've got kind of like two shock setups because you have the air shocks and the Bilstein shocks. It's kind of cool. Now there's this really cool Rebel decal here on the side, and then key fob. Lock and unlock function. We got the tailgate drop down, air suspension drop down, remote start, Ram logo there on the back. And one thing this truck doesn't have is bed liner. You can always add that in after the fact, but at this price point, you'd think that truck makers would make bed liners standard, but anyways, we do have bed lights here in the back, which is nice. And with this tailgate, I believe, yeah, it's automated now. So really quick with the actuation there. And then really cool taillight design here. We've got the blacked out exhaust tips here in the back. And, well, it's all for the rear. Now this leads us inside where we have a very red interior. Well, I guess black mixed with the red because of the contrast stitching. Look at the red even on the speaker there. And then this has the leather seats, so they're perforated all down the center. Very nice trim in general. We've got some ice buckets here at the bottom. And then you can see here with the nice trim there with the cup holders, heated seats for the rear, USB ports, got an outlet as well. And by the way, these seats don't have the recline function on them, but still a nice setup. And so you go. And then this leads us up front where, again, we've got the kind of red and black contrast. Memory seats, we've got automatic for the front two windows, power folding mirrors, blind spot monitoring with the mirrors, and then down below you can see 1423 is a payload. With the Hurricane, you can tow about 11,000 pounds. Then here's the front seat. Nice trim. All of your adjustments. And this is cool with the red trim around the vent, and then you've got your light control there. The pedals, power adjustable, which is nice. Steering wheel is manually adjustable though. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you've got nice trim all around, perforated on either side. This is cool with the red trim. Radio controls are on the back of the steering wheel. We also have gear limiter on this side. On the other side, you've got your drive mode select. And then you just have a turn signal windshield wiper stalk. Here's a quick look at the gauge cluster, fully digital, which is kind of cool how you can switch between the digital and the analog there. But yeah, basic vehicle information with this, as you can see. And you notice with the driving stuff, because this has the adaptive cruise control with the lane centering and everything, it's going to have a little bit more there on the gauge cluster. But that's a cool system to have, self-driving. Transmission select down below, yes, it's still dial. Advanced four-wheel drive system. We also have our auto stop start, off-road cruise control, axle lock, and guess what? 360 camera system with this one. So you can see all of the angles Really cool setup with it, if I do say so myself. And then, yeah, big new screen here. So it's actually not, I don't think it's any bigger than the previous version, but it's just a little bit different. There's screen for the air suspension adjustment for the parking sensors, where there's like knobs on the older version. You still have the shortcut bar here at the bottom, still have the climate controls on either side, all of that's still been built in. And the screen still has roughly the same kind of response time overall, where it takes a second. You do heated and cooled seats with this package, by the way. Bunch of USBs here, and then you can see down below with the wireless phone charging pad and then outlet there at the bottom. You've got the sliding center console too. Nice trim here on the top. So I think that's a plus. It also has some cool measuring charts and good storage overall. So good job on that. And then you got fancy trim all across the dash, Harman Kardon sound system. And then, yeah, it's got the passenger screen as well. Glove box. And then we've got the rear view mirror. And then we do have a power sliding rear window, which is pretty cool. Oh, I did the sunroof by accident. There we go. Power sliding rear window. But we also have a sunroof up top, panoramic. Now, after all options, this one stickers for about $77,000. See how it performs. Well, let us set off in our fancy pants Rebel. By the way, visibility, it's good. Love pickup truck visibility. It's the best, and it's good because pickup trucks are huge vehicles. Again, like, you know, your average full size is 230 inches in length, roughly. So that's bigger than a Suburban. That's, you know, a whole, I mean, so like the average vehicle that most people drive here in the US nowadays is kind of like a Grand Cherokee sized SUV. That's what you see on the road a lot. Maybe even a little bit smaller than that. Maybe like a Toyota RAV4 sized SUV. And so, I mean, Grand Cherokees, I think those are like 190-ish inches, roughly. Maybe even a little bit shorter. And then, you know, Toyota RAV4, you're, you know, and that's close to like the 170s, I think, if I remember right. So like let's say it's 170, 190. That's most vehicles versus 230, right? You've got several extra feet to drive around. And this isn't even, that's not even long bed. If you do long bed, you're even bigger. It's regular old 5.5 foot bed. I love this new engine. Again, it doesn't have the character of the Hemi, but it's such a smooth powertrain. And it works really well with the Rebel package, because you've got it's not massive with the tires, but you got some tire to move. Smooths that all out. And the air suspension helps out quite a bit too with the Rebel, because these are pretty aggressive tires, so they're going to chunk at the road a little bit, but the air suspension actually smooths it all out quite a bit. It's a comfortable ride. Yeah, I really do like how this just always has torque. It's nice. Look at that. That's the other thing that's fun about the Hurricane, is it's just like an on-off switch. Slow down here. Just like an on-off switch. And then, yeah, once you're on, it's just snappy. Like almost rips your head off. It's really impressive. Again, especially when you compare it to the Hemi. And this isn't the high output. I really want to test out that new RHO, but they seem to be slow to release that. We'll get one soon though, I'm sure. And I want to do, with the RHO, I want to compare it to one of these, and then I also want to compare it to the Raptor and a ZR2. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, when you go in it, the suspension handles it pretty well. Like all around, it does a good job. And turn-ins, and this is easy to, this is a relatively big lot, but it's still easy to drive around, easy to maneuver. There's no struggle with any of it. So to sum things up, is this package weird? Yeah, not really. Like in terms of the equipment, like this makes all the sense. Rebel with heated cooled seats, leather seats, panoramic sunroof, air suspension, like it makes sense. The problem is when you look at the pricing compared to the RHO, you can get an RHO starting at about 70, and then fully loaded, I mean, people have sent me their specs. Usually most people are between 78 to 85. So at 77, this is right there in the meat of RHO pricing. And what I mean by that is that's where most people are probably going to have an MSRP of about 78 with their RHOs. They're going to be in that midline. So when you ask someone, hey, do you want to buy a Rebel or an RHO? 10 times out of 10, 11 times out of 10, they're going to say RHO. So I think that's the biggest thing going against how this is packaged, is where it puts it at within the lineup. And this is one of the things that makes pricing out vehicles so hard for manufacturers, I think, is when you make the comparisons. And then again, this is, you know, Ford Raptor starts at 80. So yeah, I don't know. That's a tough thing. I mean, I think if they decontented this, not in the negative way, but in a positive way, and what I mean by that is get rid of some of the frills that are not necessary. You know, passenger screen, get rid of that. That's stupid. That'll save some money. Other than that, and the other thing is it doesn't even have the high output. So like in RHO, you can get an RHO for the same money and you get the high output. You don't get air suspension, but craziness. Let me know what you guys think about this Rebel, but I think it's pretty darn weird with in the lineup in terms of the pricing.